iHeartRadio. Everything holiday, all in one place. From 24/7 Christmas music to the stories behind the Christmas hits with Drew Savage. Listen to the podcast on the free iHeartRadio app, your destination for all things Christmas. These are the songs that get you in the spirit. Keep listening for all your Christmas favorites.
This week in gaming with Naomi Kyle.
Hello again, I'm Naomi Kyle, and welcome back to This Week in Gaming. This week we're catching up on the developer's perspective on AI in games, the acquisition of Warner Bros. Discovery, and gearing up for the Game Awards. We've got all this week's gaming news, so let's get started. Netflix has announced that it will be buying Warner Bros. Discovery. The sale of the media giant rings up at about $82.7 billion US, or 114.3 billion Canadian, making for one of the single largest acquisitions in history. Netflix's co-CEO, Ted Sarandos, has said in a statement that by combining Warner Bros.' incredible library of shows and movies, like Harry Potter and Friends, with our culture-defining titles like Stranger Things and Squid Game, we can give audiences more of what they love and help define the next century of storytelling. I would be remiss if I didn't mention that Warner Bros. Discovery currently owns video game developers Avalanche, Rocksteady, NetherRealm, and TT Games. This acquisition means that Hogwarts Legacy, the Arkham series, Mortal Kombat, and LEGO games will now be owned and operated under the Netflix Games division. Netflix has been steadily expanding their streaming service to include gaming and create a product that rivals video game subscriptions like PlayStation Plus and Xbox Game Pass. This acquisition, big as it may be, doesn't concern some hardcore gamers. In fact, there is hope that the new ownership could release one of gaming's most groundbreaking mechanics, the Nemesis system. The Nemesis system, for the uninitiated, was a game mechanic introduced 12 years ago in the video game Middle-earth: The Shadow of Mordor. In the game, the player would fight off hordes of orcs, some of which would remember the player, even bearing scars from their last encounter, and would seek revenge, all thanks to the Nemesis system. Unfortunately, the Nemesis system was patented and has ultimately gone unused since Monolith Productions shut down earlier this year. Now, Paramount has launched what various news outlets are calling the hostile bid for Warner Bros. Discovery. After Warner Bros. Accepted Netflix's offer of $82 billion US, Paramount issued an unsolicited bid to buy the entirety of Warner Bros. Discovery for $108 billion US. Warner Bros. Board of Directors has said that it will review Paramount's offer, but at this time, it is not modifying its recommendation to take the offer made by Netflix. Dan Houser, the co-founder of GTA developer Rockstar, is not shy when it comes to sharing his feelings about AI. Recently, Dan has written a novel titled A Better Paradise that critiques tech culture and humanity's dependence on AI. During the press tour promoting his book, Dan Houser visited the Chris Evans Breakfast Show, where he openly critiqued AI and those who stand to profit from it, saying, "Some of these people trying to define the future of humanity, creativity, or whatever it is using AI are not the most humane or creative people. They're sort of saying, we're better at being human than you are. It's obviously not true. I think that AI is going to eventually eat itself because as far as I understand it, which is really superficial, the models scour the internet for information, but the internet's going to get more and more full of information made by AI. So it's sort of like when we fed cows with cows and got mad cow disease." We're going to be breaking down this take later on in the show with our guest this week, Parris Lilly, so don't miss it. In related news, Sega has taken notice of the general public's disdain for generative AI, so when the subject was brought up during the earnings report Q&A, Sega officials said that they would leverage AI to improve efficiency on large-scale developments. We will proceed by carefully assessing appropriate use cases. Director and executive producer at Bethesda, Todd Howard, has also opened up about Bethesda's use of AI when making games, saying, "I view AI as a tool. Creative intention comes from human artists, number one. We are always working on our tool set for how we build worlds or check things. That's our view on it. But we want to protect the artistry. The human intention of it is what makes our stuff special." Couldn't agree more.
Quest complete.
So that's the news for this week. It's now time to chat with our guest. Parris Lilly joins us to chat about the Netflix buyout of Warner Brothers, Dan Houser's comments on AI, gearing up for the Game Awards, and a whole lot more.
Select game mode. Multiplayer.
Hey Parris, so good to see you. It's been a minute. How you been?
Yeah, it has been a minute. Always great to see you. Thank you for having me back on.
Always a pleasure, and definitely on a week where we're about to hear so much about gaming stuff. Obviously, the Game Awards is at the end of this week, right? Yes.
Yep, end of this week.
Can't believe we're already December.
Yeah.
It's just wild. But I think we should touch on, right before we get into that discussion about our predictions and all that, the big news, obviously, that's in Hollywood, but does affect the gaming industry that people, might not think it does, but it does. But the Netflix WB buyout. What are your thoughts on it when you first heard the news? And obviously, there's been an update on that story, so we'll get to that in a bit. But yeah, what did you think initially?
My initial thought was, this is not good.
Yeah.
And it really just comes down to consolidation and less competition in the space. Ironically enough, I had an HBO Max subscription and it was costing so much. I dropped it. I still have Netflix, but then I'm thinking, well, now Netflix has nothing to stop them from raising their prices even more. And they're already expensive as is. I mean, the content's great. I understand the reasonings on, hey, we can add more content into their service. But then you look at the other side of it from the theater aspect, they're clearly looking to shorten the time that they have things in the theater and just bring it directly to their service. So I don't know. I'm not necessarily a fan of this. We'll obviously see how it plays out. But on the surface, yeah, it doesn't look good.
Doesn't look good. And of course, folks who don't know, WB does have game studios. They have a game division. So what is your gut on that? Because we have seen with WB, I think there's been layoffs from what I heard. And I remember there has been recently. And, their games have kind of been hit or miss. So what is your take on how this will affect? Hopefully maybe not if Netflix buys, but of course the new news is that Paramount's now putting in a bid and maybe they'll purchase the company now. I don't know how that works because it sounded like Netflix and WB was a done deal, but it sounds like it's not the case. Right.
I mean, right as we're recording this, yeah, Paramount is attempting a hostile takeover bid to jump in. So who knows how all this plays out. But even just sticking on it from a game standpoint, from the Netflix side, again, not good.
Right.
Because we've seen how they've handled their internal game studios already. So it doesn't seem to me that Netflix really has an interest in gaming from that standpoint to really kind of build it and bolster it out. So maybe they sell these IPs off, the studios off, or whatever the case. I don't know. So again, this is a thing of let's see how it plays out. Let's just say that Paramount does get the game studios. I feel a little bit better about it because I think they would have a little more investment than Netflix would.
Yeah.
But even then, I don't know. And it wasn't that WB Games has been doing great in the past few years anyways. I mean, they've canceled projects like Wonder Woman as an example.
Right.
It just went away. A bunch of layoffs happened. Rocksteady, obviously, Suicide Squad did not do great. So I really think the irony out of all this is the Nemesis system. That they've had patent for years. I think it was Shadow of Mordor where it first came out, and no one else has been able to use it. Maybe there's an opportunity that game mechanic could come to other properties as a result. But to me, that seems to be the only shining light to come out of all of this.
Yeah, we'll see how this all plays out, obviously, and we could touch more on the Paramount buyout or the hostile takeover, as you described it. Yeah, totally is that. All right, guys, we're going to cut to Games Out this weekend. Be right back.
iHeartRadio, everything holiday, all in one place. From 24/7 Christmas music to the stories behind the Christmas hits with Drew Savage. Listen to the podcast on the free iHeartRadio app, your destination for all things Christmas. These are the songs that get you in the spirit. Keep listening for all your Christmas favorites.
Games Out this week.
Starting on December 8th, Angelina Era bumps slashes exclusively on the PC. Skate Story grinds onto PS5, PC, and Nintendo Switch 2. Yakuza 0 Director's Cut returns to a life of crime on PS5, PC, and Xbox Series X and S. On December 9th, Death Howl stacks the deck on PC. Unbeatable grooves to the rhythm on PS5, PC, and Xbox Series X and S. Then on December 10th, Drywall Eating Simulator takes a bite out of the PC. Mutant Football League 2 goes long on the PS5, PC, and Xbox Series X and S. On December 11th, This Ain't Even Poker, Ya Joker shuffles exclusively onto the PC. And on December 12th, Terminator 2D No Fate seeks revenge on all platforms, and Code Violet travels to the future exclusively on the PS5.
Quest accepted.
So yeah, just to touch a little bit more on this obviously big story. It's been talk of the town. It's everywhere on the news. But yeah, if Paramount were to take this over, my question with that is Paramount experienced enough in games? Like Netflix at least had Squid Game, they had Stranger Things games. Like they're seemingly trying to build out some sort of roster of games that, you know, whether they're good or not is to be debated. But, you know, Paramount with their experience in that space, that's my concern. But then I wonder if that'll mean they'll lean more on WB to like handle that. And they won't really be as so concerned of like trying to input their own, you know, ideology on it, you know?
Yeah, I mean, that would be the hope. And as we keep saying, we'll have to see how it plays out if the hostile takeover even happens with them. And like I said before, I think this even applies to Netflix. They have not handled gaming well themselves, even though they've had internal studios. So I guess it really would come down to either way, lean on the leadership and the talent that are already at these game studios to be able to handle that. If they even want to keep you know, these game studios and IPs. That's the other part of this as well. I
think gaming's so massive, and it's also these great IPs that, you know, that need, there's such a fandom when it comes to DC games and games in the WB space. Like, I just think it would be a shame to have that just go away. you know?
Completely agree.
I just can't imagine. All right. And the Nemesis system, for those who don't know, can you describe it a little bit or like what it is? So
the way that the Nemesis system worked is, so say, and again, going back to Shadow of Mordor, you wind up fighting like this enemy, say it was like a captain or a leader or a group, and you take him down. If you don't, quote unquote, kill him, he could basically have a revenge arc and be stalking you and trying to get revenge on you throughout the rest of the game. So it was such a great system that, hey, this was a cool thing that here's someone I encountered early in the game, and now I have to re-encounter them later in the game as a result of whatever, you know, action I took with them at the start. And because they made a patent of that, no one else is able to use that game mechanic in a game.
That is so wild to me.
Isn't it
weird to have a patent on that?
I know it is. And that's the bummer of it, that it was such a cool feature, and WB themselves have not taken advantage of it in other games. So as a gamer, I just want to see it come back. I would love to see other properties be able to take advantage of it.
Yeah, apparently it's been 12 years since we last saw it. Oh my God. It dates me too, because I remember when Shadow of Mordor came out. I was like, oh my God. Yeah, that would be so cool to have it back. And I wonder if it's something, maybe, I don't know, maybe they open it up or make a whole new game of using that mechanic and have it be this big, like, it's back. You know? I wanted to touch on this commentary because, of course, AI is the other big thing that's just in the news everywhere. You can't escape it. You know, and I get there's so much discussion to have of it, but also it's also been over discussed. But yeah, the Dan Houser, who we know, founder of Rockstar Games, you know, GTA fandom, he talked about how AI and compared it to mad cow disease. When you heard that, did you have any thoughts about it? Did you think, he's totally right?
Yeah, I think he's totally right. I mean, and that's the whole thing, because AI is grabbing, you know, data, news, or whatever, however you want to describe it, from various sources. Yeah. And if we get to the point where all the data is just AI, it's just literally going to be feeding off of itself. So it's not learning anything new. It's just repeating the same cycles over and over. So, Yeah, I completely agree with him. And that is kind of the big fear of where all this stuff is headed right now with AI is how is this going to be managed? How are we going to protect our data, protect our information from just being this recycled thing? And we've obviously seen cases already with various news organizations' websites where instead of people going to the site themselves for it, you just put in an AI search and it's just curating that information. So again, not good. So we'll have to see how it plays out.
It has to be the main, like one of the big reasons for all the layoffs that we saw this year.
Yeah,
100%. There's no, I think there's no question that that's why that happened. It's because of the fallout of this new technology. Yep. But let's touch on some more exciting stuff because the end of this week, it's December 11th happening. We've got the Game Awards, Jeff Keighley's Game Awards. I've been very optimistic about who I think will take over the show. I think it's pretty obvious. Expedition 33. But is there anything there in the list of games in the particular, not particular to any category, but any games out there that you're just like really gunning for and rooting for?
Oh, I'm a huge Blueprint fan.
Me too.
That game is so.
I'm still playing it.
Yeah, and that's the thing. You're still playing because I haven't had a game come along in such a long time that makes me think, that makes me, when I'm not playing it, I'm taking notes, screenshot. Yes. Like there's all these things. I'm collaborating with other people trying to figure out all the stuff. So you obviously get to that true end game of it. It was such a creative and unique game that came out this year. I mean, I'm pretty sure it's nominated for Indie Game of the Year. I mean, obviously Expedition is going to be such a huge presence, but I hope it wins something because it definitely deserves that recognition and praise. It is my personal game of the year.
Yeah.
I would say outside of that, Hades 2, which I played a little bit in early access. And then I said, you know what? I'm going to wait till 1.0 comes out and I'll jump back in. Well, now I have free time after review season is winding down. So that's all I've been playing recently. I understand. It's just so good. It improves on everything that the first one implemented. I just love the mechanics of it. The story, just everything about it is fantastic. So those are probably my two biggest that I hope gets a lot of praise during the Game Awards. But to your point, Expedition 33, I mean, it's a no-brainer. It's going to win Game of the Year. It's going to get so many other accolades and awards during the show. So looking forward to it. I'm really looking forward to seeing the show.
Yeah, me too. I think Expedition 33 is going to sweep. I do think, to your point, it's crazy that Hades 2 is somehow better because Hades 1 was so good.
Yeah, I know.
So how do you top that?
Yeah.
I think my personal pick for Game of the Year would be Split Fiction.
Yep, that's another one.
I really love that one. But yes, I'm on the Blueprints bandwagon as well. And do you think it got snubbed for Game of the Year? Like, do you think it should have been on that list instead of some other titles?
I do. I definitely do think it should have. I wasn't expecting it to win, but I definitely thought it could have been on that list. I would not have been mad to see that at all. I just hope, because like I said, I'm pretty sure it is for indie. Mm-hmm. But is Expedition also for indie?
I think so.
It's gonna win. It's gonna win so many things.
Right. And I also remember Balatro taking Game of the Year. That to me, that should have been a surefire sign that Blueprints definitely deserved a spot. Because it's a smaller indie game in a sense, and it's in that category. So I wish it had gotten a Game of the Year nod. Who would you have replaced on the list of Game of the Years this year to put Blueprints on there for you?
Oh man, now I'm trying to remember the full list. I don't have it in front
Stranding, of me. We have Expedition 33, Silk Song, Donkey Kong Bonanza, Death. I already said Death Stranding. Am I missing any? I think those. Oh,
actually, I can tell you one I would replace because I personally wasn't a fan of it, and I know a lot of people loved it. Donkey Kong. It did not grab me. I get it. People love it. I understand it. But yeah, if I had to replace something, it would be Donkey Kong.
Yeah. Oh, there was the other one, Kingdom Come
Deliverance too. Yeah. This overall has been such a solid year for gaming. It has been one of the best. Yeah. So many great games have come out this year. Anything
you're hoping to performance-wise to see at the Game Awards or anything like that? I know Evanescence is performing.
Yeah,
which is
I mean, I'm looking. I always enjoy the live performances of the games. I would say if there's anything, what is the statue? I want to know what that statue is.
Yes.
Yeah, because it actually isn't too far away from where I live. I was like, I almost went to go see it, and then I was like, I'm not gonna go do that. But all the speculation that's come out of what it potentially could be, I've heard the running joke: watch it just be some kind of mobile game. I don't think it's going to be that, but that would be hilarious if it was.
That would be hilarious.
But yeah, I'm excited to see what that ultimately is going to be. So looking forward to that.
Anything? Are you going to be on any shows talking about the Game Awards or like live reacts or anything like that?
If I have it my way, this is the last show I'll be on for the rest of the year.
Amazing. Ready for the holidays.
Yeah, definitely ready for the holidays.
I'm in the same boat. Well, happy holidays to you in that case.
Yeah, happy holiday to you too.
I'll see you in the new year. And thank you so much for being a part of this show. When you could throughout the year, it really makes a huge difference. I feel very fortunate to have, folks like you who can come on and who are excited to talk games, even if it's for a little short interview every so often.
No, thank you for having me on.
You've always been so great.
Yeah, thank you, because it's always a pleasure to come on and talk games with you.
Amazing. Well, have a good rest of the year.
Yeah, you too.
And I'll talk to you soon. Later.
All right, talk to you soon.
Parris Lilly is host of Gamertag Radio. You can follow him on Twitter at Vicious696.
Flawless victory! Continue!
And that's This Week in Gaming, folks. I'm your host, Naomi Kyle, and thank you so much for listening every week. Thank you for subscribing to our new YouTube channel, and shout out to my co-writer, Josh Seaman, for putting the show together every week. Don't forget to let me know what you're playing and what you think of these stories by tagging me at Naomi Kyle on social or in the comments. From all of us here at This Week in Gaming, we wish you a fun-filled week, and we'll see you same time, same place next week. Talk to you later.
This Week in Gaming is an iHeartRadio Canada podcast. Subscribe to this podcast on iHeartRadio or wherever you get your podcasts. Download the iHeartRadio app for more podcasts just like these.
iHeartRadio, everything holiday, all in one place. From 24/7 Christmas music to the stories behind the Christmas hits with Drew Savage. Listen to the podcast on the free iHeartRadio app, your destination for all things Christmas. These are the songs that get you in the spirit. Keep listening for all your Christmas favorites.